Hi everyone, it's Margaret. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing the entire process of me painting my first utility box. And this was part of a project called ArtBox San Jose, which is a project where a couple of artists are selected to paint a mural on the utility boxes owned by the city of San Jose in an effort to bring a little bit more art and beauty to the community. And for this project, I wanted to paint something nature inspired. This was the first time that I have ever painted a utility box, so there are a couple things that I had to figure out and learn to do as I went. And I started out in the video scraping off any layers of paint and stickers and just really cleaning off all the dirt and grime off of the utility boxes to make sure that the paint would stick. And then once I was happy with how clean I was able to get the utility box, I then put a coat of primer to make sure that the paint would stick. And I started out my day at, I think, 7 a.m. We got out here and started to prime and prep the boxes. And then once the primer was dried, I started putting on the base coat of color. And before I came out here on this day to paint the utility boxes, I actually created a design of what I wanted to paint on Procreate. I visited the utility boxes beforehand to get the dimensions and sizes so I could make a pretty accurately sized design, and then it went through a bit of an approval process with the people in charge of organizing this project, and then once it was approved, I came out and painted the boxes. So once I put the first coat of color, this light blue that matches my hat, on the small utility box, I then sketched out the different drawings I needed for the larger utility box. And the theme of my paintings or murals were to highlight the native flowers in San Jose or in Northern California with a couple of pollinators. I chose some bees. So here you can see me outlining some flowers and bees in pink chalk so I could figure out the areas that I needed to paint the background color and then where to kind of leave out for the various shapes. And I do mess up a little bit. I do have my design printed out that I'm using as a reference, and then I also had a couple of reference photos for the bees and the flowers. And the great thing about chalk is that it's really easy to wash away if I made a mistake. So I was able to kind of sketch that out really quickly. The first flowers that I wanted to paint on this smaller box was silver lupines. I ended up painting this both of these utility boxes in one day. We were here from about 7 a.m. until 4:30ish, and as you'll see in the video, I do have a couple of friends who come by to help me paint the larger box, which was a really big help, and I really appreciated them coming out and spending time with me to work on this. So yeah, I start out with the darker colors on the lupine. So once I had the stem and the little pieces in, I go in with the darker purple to kind of put the base, and then upon that I put on a slightly different shade, a more pinker shade of purple, and then do the highlights in even lighter shades of purple on top to give it that dimension. I go around and paint a bunch of stems of this silver lupine across the all four sides of the box. And I chose these flowers because they're both native to Northern California, and I thought that they would be a good shape for this narrow, skinny box. And something else that was really helpful was bringing a stool with me and then a drop cloth to make sure that I wasn't dripping paint everywhere. And I did pre-mix most of my colors before coming to the location for painting, just so I wasn't spending a lot of time mixing. beforehand or during the painting process, and I kind of knew what colors I'd be using throughout my painting. And then I kind of learned this from a couple of friends who have painted murals and art boxes before, and they really recommend bringing stools and bringing kind of step stools as well to help you feel comfortable while you're painting, because you do end up spending a lot of time here. And especially when I was putting all these details, I wanted to make sure that I didn't feel too tired in the beginning, because, as I mentioned, I did end up painting and completing this mural in one day. And I decided to paint this all in one day because it was the coolest day that we've had in a while. It's getting pretty hot here in the summer, and I didn't want to have to come out the next day because it was going to be much hotter. And then it does take quite a bit of time to set up and get situated. I did finish the first art box quite quickly on my own. It was only missing a bee. I had my friends come and visit, and they were a little nervous with painting because they were afraid of messing things up, which is kind of funny, but I gave them a pretty straightforward task of using this green straight from the can to paint the background of this larger art box, and then I went in and started working on the flowers and kind of getting the colors in with the various gradients of pink and white that I had wanted. And then it's kind of funny watching this now just because I wasn't paying attention too closely to what they were doing, but to see how carefully that they were painting around my sketches, which, for me were rough sketches, were kind of there to give me a general sense of where the bees would go, but wouldn't match the exact shape. And it's just fun to see how careful they were and how seriously they took painting this mural. But it was fun to have all of them together, and as you can see, we're in the shade now, which was really, really nice. And we chatted a lot and caught up while we worked. Are called Farewell to Spring, and I really wanted to get this sense of coming out of the winter and things warming up after springtime to the nice summer months, which is when I'm painting this mural through these flowers. So I have a couple of pink Farewell to Spring flowers around the larger utility box. And then once the background was painted and I blocked most of my flowers in, I had to get started on the bees, and I ended up putting in, I think, 6 bees, maybe 7 across these 2 utility boxes. So I gave a quick demo of how to paint a bee to my two friends who came to help me out. So here I am giving that as they stand and watch, and I also had a reference photo of a couple bees that I was able to share with them. So I painted this first bee and then painted the three on this side, while one of them painted the bee on the smaller utility box, and then another one of them painted the other two on the other sides of this utility box. And that was a really big help for me because I didn't have to worry too much about all of the details across 7 bees, and then I was able to work on the flowers, and it was really fun because you can kind of see the different styles in the bees across the three of us, and I thought that was a good touch. And then my friends had to leave to do some other things, and so I finished up with putting a lighter green details in the background of the larger utility box because I thought it looked a little flat with just one green color. And so I'm coming in and adding some details, and I think I had planned to put in some sort of design in the background during my initial design process, but I kind of forgot about it when I was actually painting it, so I just had to come in and do that as another coat. And then as I was looking around the mural to see how things were looking. Since I haven't looked at the blue one in a while, I realized I needed some lighter highlights for some of the flowers, so I went in there and did a bit of touching up for that painting, and then seeing them together, it looked really good. So that was the entire process of me painting my art box. The utility boxes are located at the intersection of 11th Street and Reed Street in San Jose. And after I finished it, the organizations I worked with put an anti-graffiti coat on top to make sure that it wouldn't get tagged, and hopefully it would be able to stay for a while. So that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it or have any questions about painting a mural and how to get started, let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate your support in my journey as an artist as I try out a couple of different things as I navigate this career. And so I'm really excited that I've been able to try a couple of new things beyond painting in the studio. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.